Welcome, one and all to episode 157 of When the Kids Go to Sleep, right here, the podcast with Shay and Colette, the happily married couple in the mountains of Idaho. Roll the intro.
Hi. When the kids are counting sheep, when the kids go to sleep, dreams and memories, when the kids go to sleep.
Back to the intro, yeah. Hey, I don't have a wedding ring on.
No.
I lost it.
You know what I was going to do today?
What?
It just dawned on me. Do you remember what Brock got for Christmas?
Oh, the treasure
Yes.
treasure
It
truck?
works.
Does it have a metal detector?
It has a metal detector.
Let's get it up here.
We're going to get it up there.
Let's put it to work.
I don't know if it will work because the whole thing... Okay, so Shay lost his ring in the cow feeder.
Listen, the cows are coming in between me and Colette.
When his hands get cold, the ring gets really loose, and I tell him to get it sized, but I think you like it loose. Do you like it loose?
Well, I just want it too tight. Yeah, it feels fine most of the time. But when I'm out feeding the cows.
It's like your hand's really cold and it constricts and it gets even smaller. And so it fell off when he was putting the hay in. And we looked for it and looked for it and looked for it. But that just dawned on me this morning to get the treasure truck out. Because I'm hoping it'll work because the whole thing it's inside of a metal thing.
It moved though.
So I'm hoping
the metal thing moved. So I don't know where the ring's going to be now. Oh, it did? Yeah, because those cows knock it around all the time. It doesn't stay in the same spot. We could try it though, because I think
we should try it.
I know kind of where it's at. Anyways, Brock for Christmas got this little toy that's like a metal detector, and it's supposed to dig treasure out of the earth.
Well, it helps you detect the treasure.
Yeah.
So it's just like a mini metal detector.
But we should get a real metal detector. Anyways, it's the second ring that I've lost feeding the cows. I think the other one I lost when I was trying to get the ice.
Which is probably still in the feeder somewhere.
Yeah, in the water trough, you have to kind of go break the ice out of the top of it every day. Even though we have a warmer that keeps it from freezing, the top layer will usually freeze because the water warmer is below, but then that top layer will freeze over. So you just kind of break the top layer off.
Yeah.
And I feel like my ring fell in there. And then when I was feeding the cows, it fell off because I bought another one. I was at Sam's Club in Utah and I went to the jewelry store. I'm like,
I need a wedding ring.
Give me that wedding ring right there. I bought an $80 wedding ring.
Which is really romantic, huh? I was
going
to buy you one.
But I like to get my wedding rings cheap. I got to get them by the dozen.
Wedding rings by the dozen.
If you buy them by the dozen, you get a discount. You know what I'm saying?
Just get them out of the 25-cent
13th wedding ring for free. So this is episode 157, if we didn't say that already. This is the podcast you come to judge us at.
Yay!
Why do they come? Why do they listen?
Yeah, why do you guys listen?
Do you think that they think that we have some insight to them?
I think sometimes, yeah.
I saw a tweet today that said, "Teach what you learn." I like that tweet.
Teach what you learn?
Mm-hmm. What'd you learn this week?
Learning a lot.
Teach it. Preach it. Tell all about it.
Do you feel
Shout
like you
it,
can teach it so that you continue to learn it?
It helps, I think, to teach. It helps to learn to teach. When you teach, you learn. That's deep.
That is deep.
Socrates. So we're back at the podcast. We're just, we're plugging away at the winter. We're feeling a little bit of the cabin fever winter blues. And I think that's what has gotten me a little bit chubbitied. I've kind of gotten a winter coat on me.
I think I just winked at the camera.
No.
I was just looking at the camera and I smiled, but then I had thing in my eye and I was like, that's going to look funny. I'm like, hey guys.
She likes chubby guys. Chubbity? I think I said a
chubbity?
Coat of chubbity on me. But that's why those 30 days helped so much because we have so much snow up here. And if it wasn't for skiing, I think I would go crazy. I'm going skiing today. That's why I have this collar on. This is my ski thing. I'm going to go skiing after this. Wait, where's my zipper? Was it oh, could you hear that in the mic? Anyways, so we did 30 days of Shayloss for Fat Dad, Fat Kid book, and that was awesome. That was so much fun. The kids loved it. The way that we shot them is we'd shoot them 3 at a time. So we twice a week would come up here to the studio and we'd all have outfits. And Brock was so cute. He'd be like, "Dad, do I need to get my 3 outfits?"
Yeah.
Because it was every time we'd come up to shoot, everybody had to get all their clothes together. I'm yeah, get your 3 outfits. And he'd get his 3 little shirts and come up here. That's so much fun. So if you didn't see, we have 30 days, 30 workouts, 30 videos. I really had a good time. That's a fun playlist. And we're going to keep doing that. And we are doing live workouts here in the studio every Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Shayloss channel. So Monica comes and trains us. She has a whole workout. It's like a virtual gym. If you will picture never having to leave your room to go to the gym, you could just open your computer, but then there's still like, you're still going to get that social aspect because we'll talk to you and you guys can comment. And it really motivated me. Like the 2 live workouts that we've done, we're reading some of your comments as we're working out because we can see what you guys can see up on the monitor. So we're reading your comments. So it's fun to interact and have like a virtual gym experience. So if you feel like you are in the winter blues and you want to shed a little of the shuffly, then come and work out with us every Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Shayloss channel. And it's good for us. I like doing it. Yeah. It's you just feel better. It's a secret. If you exercise, you feel better.
And it's actually cute working out with the kids. They're so funny. They're different personalities. Brock is hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah,
You got some questions over there?
Questions. I did. No, I just lost it. What?
I don't know the answer to that question. If you guys didn't know, we also got a new TRIXIN store. I think we'll probably be making some videos about it, but it's not totally new, but we just moved to a different spot in the mall. So we're at a better location.
It's a good spot. We like that. Okay. Do you think you guys will renew your vows so the kids can see you renewing them and enjoy watching you renewing them? I don't know. I guess we haven't talked about that ever. I think that we should.
I don't think
sometime.
So. What do you?
No, like renewing your vows.
Did we never even had vows?
Well, I think you do that every day.
Right. That's why I
just try to show your family.
Because we don't, in our culture, we don't really do a thing like that where you read vows to each other. We didn't do that, did we?
Not really. Not like once. No.
Yeah.
No, we made promises.
Should we write those down? We got them tattooed, so it's like every morning when we see it, we're like, oh yeah. Step 1.
Oh, let's see.
Dance sexy for mommy tard. That was the first vow that I made.
Nailed it.
I like that though. You do. You have to renew it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a recommitment. I saw a question. What else is on your bucket list? Because I do feel very blessed to have done a lot of bucket list items.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes feel like I don't know what's next. I've always wanted to run my own business. My biggest goal is to just be able to provide for my family by doing what I wanted to for a living. And that is like the biggest bucket list. So it's like, I think I need to make a new bucket list. Like I've been skydiving thanks to the Bro Ventures. I've been bungee jumping, all those bucket list type items. I've met a lot of my idols. Like I got to meet Dave Ramsey. That is definitely a bucket list item. I ran a marathon. I still haven't got my pilot's license.
Right. Playing the guitar.
I need to play the guitar and I need to learn to speak Spanish. Maybe I should just kick those 3 into overdrive. Those are 3 life goals that I've dabbled in. I can kind of hablar the Espanol. I can hit a few chords on the guitar and I've flown a plane for $50 once. Danny didn't take me on a plane.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I have a lot of things that I'm overcoming right now. Like I'm skiing now. I didn't used to ski. That's something I was like, I don't know, it's scary. Because the first time I ever went skiing, it was like a tragedy. It was really hard for me. But I'm finally doing it. Mm-hmm. And you were patient with me and you taught me.
Yeah, that's why I felt bad. We were saying in the live show that on the first time we went back again, she fell and kicked her toe against her boot. And like her entire toenail is black.
Is going to fall off.
Does it still look like it's going to fall off?
Well, it's turning white now. And
it was pussing last night. She had to put hydrogen peroxide
TMI,
on it last night.
Sorry about that.
Well, let's got a big pussy toe if you wanted to know.
If you wanted to know.
So I was like, man, I hope that doesn't discourage her from skiing.
Well, it didn't. I've been once since.
That's actually motto, or that was vow 6. Don't let a big pussy toe keep you from skiing. That was one of our other vows that we made. But yeah, I mean, do you think you could ever get yourself to skydive with shaky butt syndrome that you have?
I've told you I will.
Do you want to book it right now?
Sure.
Would you do it?
I would do it for you.
Freak out though? Like once you got up there, do you think you would have like a come apart
Maybe.
when they open the door?
Maybe.
What would
But you can't think about that because
Right.
that's what holds me back every time is I imagine it.
that?
I get shaky butt and I chicken.
Like I think, what would it take to get my mom to go skydiving? She would never do it. There's no way. Like I feel like you could offer her $100,000 and she wouldn't do it.
Really? Will you offer me $100,000?
Sure, you can have every penny I have because you already got it, babe. Let's get you and mom to skydive together. That would be an accomplishment. That would be a feat of phenomenal pheromones. I'm so addicted to that.
Phenomenal pheromones?
I don't know what that means. You probably would. If you're jumping out of a plane, you have some pheromones going on.
I might pass out. I might pee my pants. But
What
I've
is-
just accepted those things. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it.
I'll lose all
do it for
bodily
you.
functions. Well, it's not fun if you poop yourself.
No, but at
That's
least
a
I
standard
can say I
rule.
did it.
Especially for the instructor.
Yeah, right. If he's strapped onto you. We got him.
What if I couldn't? What if I couldn't hold my bladder together?
I'd untach. I'd be like,
I didn't
you're
really
ew.
even think about
I'd
that.
be like, clip. Yeah, where'd he go? So I was pooping my. Anyways, hypothetical, gross situations. Scarier, bungee jumping or skydiving?
I don't know. Do you tandem bungee jump? Like, do you have an instructor?
No. No, Miranda Sings is not attached to you.
Miranda, you want to go bungee jumping?
You're good. You have a good Miranda Sings impression.
I love her. She's so funny.
Do the rest of the podcast in Miranda Sings.
Shay, I don't know.
I
don't know if I can.
Because bungee jumping is scary, like the
Because
whole
you
time.
have to-
Because then you're hanging and you're bouncing.
And
Like
you're- oh,
once you jump out of the plane,
head.
well, I guess it's the same thing with bungee jumping. Once you reach terminal velocity, then skydiving
Skydiving.
isn't weird.
Skydiving.
That first 4
skydiving.
seconds is when you're like, and you lose your stomach. But then you reach like
Terminal
Yeah,
velocity?
the speed that you're not going to go any faster than. And then all of a sudden it's just really loud, and you're like, oh, this is cool.
You don't feel it
Yeah,
as
you
much?
don't have that falling feeling after you hit that speed where you can't go any faster. Then it's just like windy and loud, you know. But once they hit the parachute, then it's so quiet, and then you're just like, whoa. So even after doing bungee jumping and skydiving, that's why I feel like hang gliding is still actually my favorite.
Yeah.
Because when we lifted off on those hang gliding things, it is, and I've said this before, it is the most like flying or like flying dreams that I've had than anything else, where you're just literally quietly soaring over canyons. And then you're like, oh, look at that river. Let's go look at it. So if you had to pick and you wanted a cool experience, I would say hang gliding is actually maybe the best.
Mm-hmm.
I
remember you saying
I
that.
would be curious to know others who thought, and I want to do it again. Like I really, once me and Casey did it, we were all gung ho. We're like, how much are these?
Yeah.
Let's get a hang glider. And then
wanna
I'm
do
like,
that.
we're going to
Can
kill
I do
ourselves.
that instead of skydiving?
Because we could go up on this hill, you know, with me, Blake, and Danny.
Yeah. Wait a
Get a few
second.
GoPros,
Wait a second.
and we can figure out a hang glider.
We
I
could
feel
do
like.
it.
15 minutes, that thing will be stuck in a tree.
Danny, get the skid steer. But with this, it's funny because this hill that we have up here is perfect because it's long and then it just drops steep. So we could get some, dude. I think we need to do that this spring. I'm not
my
even
goodness.
joking.
What did we just start?
Because if we go up to the top here and I run down, I could hang glide down into like our backyard. I bet you I could do like a few loops and then just touch down into our backyard.
I can't get the skid steer. I'm stuck in a tree.
I'm going to try that I think I might. Anyways, I want to talk about virtual reality because that thought of doing that, because, okay, I was just watching this Jason Silva video. You guys know I'm a Jason Silva fan. Jason Silva is a YouTuber / futurist / hip. What does he say he is? Is a hypnonaut? It's like an astronaut, but in the mind. Anyways, he has these videos on his YouTube channel called Shots of Awe. And it talks about how as we get older, it's harder to have awe. It's harder to be, you know, like we've seen it all, done it all kind of feel.
amazed.
You know, like I've been bungee jumping. I've been
Yeah.
skydiving. It's hard to have that wonder to, you know, experience something for the very first time that you can see a kid experience where they're like, whoa. you kind of lose that overwhelming sense of newness sometimes as you've experienced and lived more, and then it's easier to get melancholy and feel just like I'm just bored. So things like, you know, setting new goals, like I'm gonna try to, like the thought of getting a hang glider and trying to hang glide off that hill this spring gives me like excitement. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need those things to look forward to, and I think virtual reality is gonna do that, and it scares me the potential that it can take us. But I think you could put some old people that have lost mobility in a virtual reality setting with, you know, if you put like an old fighter pilot in a VR situation with, you know, wind and noises, and you add some, you know, real elements to the VR experience, you're going to, I think, because brains are elastic, you're going to re-energize a lot of old minds that wouldn't normally have experienced that because their physical bodies limit them. But I think they're going to be able to, old brains or older people will, you know, be peaked or something like with these new games in VR. I just feel like we're going to live a lot longer because of stuff like that. The only reason I say that is because I experienced it in Park City at Sundance, and it blew me away. Like I've seen all the, you know, I've on the internet, I scroll through people that go to, you know, those conferences, and you see them like, tried VR for my first time. I'm like, just like, it looks like a weird video headset. Like, what if I just taped this to my hat? But the one that me and Cassim did together, it was so real. It was like I was in this cave with this giant alien woman who was Cassim. And we were
Cassim
interacting.
was the alien
he was
woman?
this, and it was weird because she
funny.
had like a really nice butt. It was like,
What?
you see if you go watching the
grab
video,
Cassim's
and I'm
butt.
like touching, and he like turns, he's like, stop it. We were like fighting because it was like, he's like, you're weird looking. I was like, I couldn't see myself. I mean, you could look down and see your arms because
it
they
looks
had,
different?
they had sensors on your hands and your arms and your feet. So at one point you had to like walk over this cave or this crevasse, and there was like stepping points. And so when you're looking down, you can see where your feet are. And if you moved your foot in the wrong place, it was like you're going to fall down in this giant waterfall.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it felt, like I said, for all intents and purposes, like we were in that cave because I could look down and see my feet. I could look up, and then there was a torch on the wall. And that's what I mean by like they have physical things within this virtual world. There was a torch that was burning fire, and you could grab the torch and like hold it, because then they had like a stick that was, it's crazy.
Wow.
So it's like, picture yourself sitting in a cockpit that was built like a video game machine where you're flying an F-16 and they mimic all the exact same movements, and then they put all that visual of really flying it. It's going to be like you're really doing it. And like imagine waking up in the morning and instead of just like eating your bowl of Cheerios, you fly an F-16 over the Indian Ocean. You know what I mean? That might get you to have a better day. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could throw on this VR. But then it's like, are we going to just live in these virtual worlds and never experience reality?
Right.
We got to ask ourselves these questions. You know what I'm saying? Can I buy an Oculus Rift device?
What? Oh, what?
I think, isn't that what they're called? Facebook's selling them. They're these like
I feel
goggles.
like that was from a movie, Oculus Rift.
Yeah, it's like, yep.
Like Mission Impossible or something.
I can't remember. Oculus means eye. Anyway, so do you have any questions? I just went off on a weird tangent
we answered
there.
a couple. Let's see if we got any more.
What are you planning? Kids and jobs. Do you think the kids will ever have like a regular 9-to-5 job?
I think that would, I don't know. I want them to experience all
Work.
those things.
Yeah. We put those kids to work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the best things that you could learn is just how to work over a sustained period of time.
Right.
And not quit.
Work hard.
Ever considered going vegan as a family? Yes, Elizabeth, Hersher, I think Colette both see the major benefits in a vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's just, meat is so tasty. And that might sound short and shallow of us, but so be it.
And you
I
know what
like
else?
to eat steak sometimes.
I know, I really like steak. I know what else I've noticed is the winter time is a lot harder to eat vegan than in the summertime here in Idaho. That's why I feel like in California it's easier.
Yeah, warmer weather definitely helps. When we were in Hawaii, I definitely felt motivated to eat healthier because, you want to
vegetables.
hydrate. And yeah,
'Cause,
anyways,
like the meat kind of weighs you down, but here it's like comforting. Like when you eat a warm bowl of beef stew, it just tastes good and it's comforting. So,
I believe in limiting meat. I believe in eating meat sparingly, as you might hear in a book or two. But I think that veganism is definitely, I'll tell you this, when I ran the St. George Marathon and I ran 26.2 miles in 11 hours and 11 minutes, in 3 hours and 11 minutes, I was eating vegan. And I was the healthiest and strongest I've ever been. I could run. It was so simple for me to go out and run 10 miles. Like a 10-mile run was like, can I just run quick 10 miles? Like it was nothing. Like I could run 10 miles and like talk the entire time. And I was eating just big bowls of granola and nuts and stuff. And I was being really strict and it was hard and it wasn't fun, but my body performed better. So I have experimented with eating vegan and found it to be effective. But it's just hard. It's hard to do. And especially when you have 5 kids, it's like, here, have this, it's like, and it's our own fault, because we started feeding them generic salt, sugar crap from the beginning, because not until later have we like really educated ourselves on proper nutrition and stuff. We were just,
and I feel like I'm still learning how to eat that way consistently. To eat like really healthy.
It's so
such a
obvious
change
how
from what I grew up
sugar is so
doing.
addicting, and it's just tough. So yeah, I mean, it's 11:11. Make a wish. I wish we could be vegan. I wish we could be vegan. Kiss it. I like to kiss it. I hope the wish come true. Do you?
Yeah.
Kiss. It's 11:11.
Kiss it, guys.
But we do Meatless Monday. We need to do that more.
I know. Gavin was like, Mom, let's do Meatless Monday.
But we're conscious of that. You know what I mean? So like, we don't have a ton of meat. Like I know growing up, or some families that I know, like we always try to have as many fruits and vegetables. But yeah, we like to have steak and chicken and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Good question.
Right.
Good question. Yep. We should be vegan. What did you want to be when you grew up? When I grew up, when my only thing that I thought of when I was going to grow up is I wanted, like the only solid thing I'm like, this is a life goal, is I wanted to own my own ski shop at the base of a ski mountain. That was like the one, I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to have like be a business owner in something that I love when I was a kid. So like I would own my own ski shop at the base of a ski mountain. So that could be a future thing that I do. What did you think you're going to be when you grew up?
A mom, a wife.
Well, it looks like you fulfilled your dreams and I haven't. I suck.
Stop.
I had one dream. And I still haven't fulfilled it.
I don't know. I feel like your dreams come and go and they change and they redirect, and I'm still dreaming.
Here's a question. Is this from the same Elizabeth Hersher? How insightful you must be, Elizabeth. Shay Carl, Katie Lett, do you and your wife have different love languages? And do they play a role in relationships, and how so? Yes, we've been talking about this recently. You got to realize that, boys and girls are different. That's lesson
Just
one.
People are different.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, what's that book? There's 5 love languages.
The 5 love languages. I haven't read it completely, but we are going to read it together and just talk about that more. Cause I know some of your love languages, I feel like, but I feel like I have yet to learn all of them.
How would you define a love language?
It's how you feel love.
Right.
How the way that I feel love is different than the way you feel love.
Right.
So when I show you love in the way that I feel love, you don't feel it.
So for instance, a guy might be different if the wife came up and just grabbed him and started making out with him. A guy might be like, oh, she loves me. But if a guy goes and does that to a girl, then it's like, well, doesn't he like me for me? It's like there's these 2 different love languages. So a dude would see that physical attention as
her, I love her.
oh, she loves me. But then the other way around is girls want to emotionally feel like they're being communicated with and touched instead of physically. Yeah. See, I learned.
I learned things.
People are like, Shay tries to make out with Colette too much. I can see behind the scenes right now. He's always trying to get on her. Freaking pervert. Anyways, sex is happy and healthy and a loving relationship. And that is one thing that I think happens that is bad for society, is that sex is such a taboo topic that we're afraid to talk about it. And even kids that are 12, 13, 14 will be like, oh, sex. It's like, it's not a bad thing. And if we are afraid to talk about it, then other people will talk about it. And they'll talk about it in ways that maybe shouldn't be talked about. So I think we need to be brave as adults to speak about sex to our kids and tell them that it's a healthy, natural thing that is good for relationships.
Right.
And that it's also something that's very important. How do we get on that topic? Jeez. Veganism
and sex.
I'm a vegan and I do CrossFit and I like sex.
Something like that.
Well, you know, it's just the stereotypes. We want to tell people that you're living in a healthy lifestyle. Like, look at me.
So going back to the love languages and what we were talking about before, I was listening to, what was I listening to? There's a part in a book where they talk about you're attracted, like when you're, I don't know. Yeah. See, I can't explain it. There's a part of you that is never, like, you're not whole, and you're attracted to somebody that has the qualities that you feel like make you whole. Like there's a reason that you're with the person that you're with, and you might not always understand exactly like what that is or why that is, but in the beginning of a relationship, like you come together because that person offers something that you see as a need, or you might not even see it, but like your soul feels it.
It's like
you're
opposites
attracted.
attract. Kind of.
And like the struggle, I guess, in relationships is like learning to still discover that part of yourself and become whole with that person. It was a really good part of the
Because
book.
you gotta admit that people change, right? Like you have different thoughts, and as you grow and evolve, you change. And so the goal is to stay connected and change together. And that's why, you know, cell phones and all these busy lives that we get into can tear relationships apart, because then you start to change apart, you know, because it's not bad to change, but, you know, changing together and growing together and learning about that change together is, I think, the love language that, you know, that you're talking about.
And like accepting that there's going to be struggles, but by overcoming them, that's when you become whole together.
A relationship is just like anything else. If you don't work at it, it won't work, you know? And I was also going to say something to bust a myth of like, because when you said that about when you find that first person and you're just attracted to them, I'd like to bust the myth of that there's just like that one special someone out there for you, like Hollywood kind of would make you think like there's just one soulmate. And if you don't find that one soulmate in the universe, then whoops daisy, like you should have just had better coordinates. But there's lots of different people that you can make relationships with. You know, it's just depending on how willing you are to work at those relationships. Good questions. Getting into the deep, dark situations we gotta chat about here. AJ Rules asks, did a harder skier slope when you have thought you could do something, still tried, found you could? Wait, what? Huh? Since Katie Lett did a harder ski slope, when have you thought you couldn't do something and still tried and found that you could? She's saying like, what are
something that you did?
Yeah, that I'm like, I couldn't do that. I think a realization that we are all on, this is, I want to be careful how I approach this. Like you can do anything, right? Like it's tempting to see somebody like Beyonce, for instance, at the Super Bowl and be like, she's on such a higher level. Like she's like Beyonce, right? She's a queen. Like that's what people say, right? They put her up on such a pedestal. I think that's a fear that we have. That's something that I think I have let inflict me in the past, where I'm like, well, they're just on that level, right? Like I couldn't ever get to that level. Like I'm pumped about where I'm at, but it's like, that's one thing that I'm starting to learn, where it's like, why can't I be on that level?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I be like Beyonce?
Well, I think
why couldn't I dance at the Super Bowl in some sweet tight pants like that?
This is something that I think that you have trained yourself to do, because Shay's always been really good at setting goals, and he will set goals that make you stretch and reach. And I think that's what you have to do, is you have to look at a goal and be like, could I do that? And then tell yourself that you can, and then go after it. And I feel like you do that. You don't let your fears just be like, no, I can't do that. Because everybody
Well, I
has that
try to do
struggle.
that. You know, I fail too. I mean, I think people on YouTube get annoyed with that about me because I'm always like, I'm gonna do this, let's do this, and people are just like, oh, shut up, Shay, enough. But I do, like, I feel like I tend to yearn to just do different things, you know. So I think that's one thing that everybody can realize, that if Beyonce can dance in some hot pants on the 50th Super Bowl, then why not? Why couldn't you? You know, like, she was just a person one day that like probably looked up to Whitney Houston. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about Beyonce watching Whitney Houston sing the national anthem back in whenever that was, when Whitney Houston killed the national anthem, best national anthem ever, in my opinion. But Beyonce didn't think like, well, she's Whitney Houston, I could never sing at the Super Bowl. Like, she's like, I'm gonna be like Whitney Houston. And then there she is. So that's one thing that I'm overcoming right now, to answer that question, is like, you know, I feel like I've hit a lot of my bucket list. And so it's like, I'm like, well, what else can I do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't do anything else. But it's like, well, what if I could? What if I thought bigger? What else could I do? You know, so
I think it's important to realize
president,
too,
I reckon.
that the failures, like when you set a goal that's really high and you go after it, you will have failures, but you're reaching higher than you would have otherwise.
Right.
By reaching.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing,
yeah. Like,
trying.
that happens all the time when you're like, wow, remember when even Brock the other night, he's so athletic. He was, so you guys remember a long time ago, we did this brand deal for these race cars that you would like lay out on a map, and these cars are like magnetic and they race. It's like called On Key Drive or whatever. So Brock found those the other day. He's like, Dad, can we get these out? I'm like, oh. So I'm like, all right. So we got them all out, and he's playing, and one of the cars was off the track on the other side, right? So then instead of walking around or whatever, and I'm just sitting there because he has my phone, because you have to download the app to play the stupid game. So he's borrowing my phone playing this game. So I'm just sitting there watching him, and he's just playing, and he needs to get that other car. So instead of like running around, he just goes like this. He just stands there and goes, and like freestyle and just jumps over the mat because he doesn't want to step on the mat. And it's like almost 4 feet wide.
It's big.
And he just like 2-footed standing jumps over this mat. I'm like, holy crap, that was good. And so then I'm like, jump over that bucket right there. And he jumps over the bucket. I'm like, I couldn't believe he jumped over that bucket. And then we added another thing. And so then all of a sudden that first bucket didn't look that impressive. You know what I mean? So you kind of, the point I'm trying to make with this long story about how talented my athletic son is that, yeah, you look at things and you're like, whoa, I couldn't. And then you do that thing. And then you're like, remember when we thought that one thing was unattainable, but now that's just like such an easy everyday thing to do? What is that in your life? So what are things that you used to think like would be so hard? Like the first time we made money, $300 for a month's worth of videos. That was unbelievable to me. But we have these like setting points in our minds where we keep growing. And I think to realize that, to see that happening, gives you hope in a future to continue that process, right? So when you see that it's working, when you see that there was something that you couldn't have ever imagined doing, but now it's like something that's simple for you, just keep running down that road, that journey of like, well, what else? You know what I mean? Like grasp at those other things, allow yourself to dream. That's where all those cliches in. Believe, have hope, you know, believe in the ridiculous that could never come to be. Like, going to the moon. There's a freaking dude that's orbiting space right now because somebody had an idea that like, what if we could do that, you know? And then eventually we did it. So that's where it's like that whole term, like you can do anything comes into play. Like you really can. You just have to let yourself believe that you could do those things that seem like you could never do. Yeah. Like dance in some real hot pants on the grass at Super Bowl 50.
Yes.
I'm going to dance at the Super Bowl and be president. Why not?
You're going to dance with Bruno Mars, though.
Dude, that would be such an honor.
In his entourage.
Uptown funk you up. Say uptown funk you up. Say what? Uptown funk. Anyways, so great questions. All right, is that how long have we chatted away now? 34? We've trained to trained to, how do you say 34 in Spanish? I have no idea. ¿Dónde es? ¿Cómo se dice 34? 34 en español, minutos. ¿Cómo se dice 34 minutes en español?
Speak Spanish?
Sí, señorita. Yo necesito muy practicar.
Park the car? What does that mean?
I said practicar. Practice.
Oh, park the car.
I probably said it wrong. Practicar.
Practicar, parking the car.
Yo me gusta, está bien, Es muy bonita, mi amiga. All right. Well, that's been a wrap. That's been fun. Okie doke. Don't forget to download it for free on iTunes.
All right. Love you guys.
Any last words when the kids go to sleep? Outro music. Click on something in the end slate. Probably one of our vlogs or another podcast. Thumbs up this podcast. You're still listening and you haven't thumbsed it up. You should feel guilty. You've been here for 34 minutes and you haven't even interacted social media wise. Okay, that's good. Bye.